Welcome back, Next Gen Prophet. Now, today I've got a special guest, and you will know his voice because you've heard his intros on nearly every one of our episodes. And I have the pleasure of having Nathan Berry in the studio and helping me with this question today.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me, Apostle Craig. I look forward to having lots of fun with you guys today.
This is going to be good. Now, the question today comes from Deline van Wyk, and it's actually Hungary, Turkey, where she is right now, but we know her, and actually she's from South Africa originally. And the question she has, Nate, is if you are doing spiritual warfare, how do you know when you're stepping out of covering, praying unled, and how do you prevent the attack? And she gave us a bit of a backstory here.
I'm loving it already so far.
Yeah, and it has happened on several occasions that I was under attack after doing spiritual warfare. I felt the Lord led me to pray. I even received visions. However, afterwards, I got such a backlash, I nearly didn't remain standing for weeks afterwards.
Whoo-wee. Okay, this is a really good one. Can I jump in there with a story?
Please, you need to, yeah.
Okay, so, all right. I'm going to tell you a story about when I first came to California.
I know
where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going with this.
Oh, goodness. So me, my now wife, and another student at the time that came to visit us, we all went to this town called Julian, which is just like anybody that knows the area where we stayed in Descanso. It's around like 40 minutes away from where we were. So we get there, we're viewing the town, we're doing some tourist things and checking out everything, eating the apple pie, because that's what you do when you go to Julian. And so here we are, just roaming the town, and we run into some witches. Oh goodness, a bunch of prophets running into witches. They're telling us stories. They're telling us what they're doing. At midnight, we gather. I don't even know how we got into this conversation. The Lord only knows how we got here. But they're telling us how they gather, what they do, their little bubble, toil and trouble stuff, and their potions that they mix up, and all of their little, witchcraft activities that they do at midnight, because they have to catch it at a certain time of the day so that their spirit takes hold of the day. And it's the first thing to lead the charge, if you will, or whatever. And there was all this stuff going on. And we're just like, all right, there is a need for spiritual warfare here in this area. So what do? We find a little area. We go up a driveway somewhere, off in a cut in Julian where no one is, find a little secret corner and hope no one catches us praying. And we all go into warfare. Everybody, we're running around, we're pacing the sidewalk and the driveway, praying, calling down fire, dealing with that witchcraft in the area. And then we leave there. Oh, goodness, the oppression, the backlash that we felt in the spirit for that whole evening afterwards. It was like, man, woo-wee. That was tough ground. We were really digging up something there. What we dug up, let's just say this, was something we had no business digging up. Because, being the prophet that I am today, I know this one thing, that because I work with an apostle now, because I also know about jurisdiction and praying in my own lane and where God needs me to be. When you start just running around praying in every area and doing warfare all over the place, when God has not positioned you in that specific land to do that warfare, you start putting yourself into dangerous waters and you start walking down a very bad road.
I love what you're saying there, Nate, because this is something that I see so often, and even I've experienced, is that when we come to spiritual warfare and prayer burdens, especially when others ask us for it, we feel almost obligated to have to do it. Don't you? How many times has a person come, please pray for this, please pray for so-and-so's finances, please pray for this ministry, they're going through a tough time. And the heart of the prophet is to go into warfare. We want to see the enemy knocked down, and we want to see God's people in victory. But I love what you said. It wasn't your grace. And you know something? I actually went to the Lord and asked him about this actual question, and the Lord started giving me some pointers, and I thought this was really good because what you said, Nate, lines up so beautifully. And he said, one of the ones was when going into battle, make sure that you're fighting the right fight. And it comes down to exactly what you said. I mean, there you guys are. I mean, you're prophets, you're anointed of God, you know how to pray. I mean, you know spiritual warfare for those that don't know. I mean, Nate comes from a family where, I mean, they were sick, and so he knows how to do spiritual warfare for health and all this kind of stuff. I mean, his dad is a pastor, so he knows how to pray for a church and members of the church. So it's not like you were just Johnny come lately. You know, he knows how to do warfare, but yet, because he was in an area out of jurisdiction, guess what? He got taken out. I remember that you came home and we had to have an intense prayer time just to try and sort you guys out. Never mind deal with the repercussions of that thing. And it's like, yeah, guys, don't take up a burden that is not yours to carry. I mean, you know, I just see it. It's like, you know, an archer is not going to run into a battlefield and try use his bow as a sword. I mean, how long is he going to last? It's like, guys, find your grace. Let God put you in that place to have your grace. Because when your grace is there, actually, the fight is not hard.
Yes,
I mean, it's going to be tough, but it's not that backlashes. You're not going to feel that heavy burden and waylaid after the meeting. I mean, after the prayer time.
I love that. Just because you can fight doesn't mean you should fight. I love how you said a prophet just loves to fight. It's in our bones. It's like, you know, Jeremiah where he says, fire shut up in my bones. It's in our bones to go to war. It's in our bones to just get out there and to kick the devil's butt. But are you kicking the devil's butt where you should be kicking the devil's butt? Because so often I see that we kick the devil's butt in so many places, and then we end up not kicking his butt where we should be. Because we're so busy taking care of the land that we don't need to take care of, that we're tired when it comes time to take care of our land.
Exactly.
It's so dangerous, and it's so actually just a terrible experience as a prophet. I will say this just out of my own experience. Have you ever gone into, you know, a circumstance where someone's like, hey, why didn't you get a certain job done? Or, hey, you know, a leader says, hey, can you help me with this? And then you're like, oh, I just didn't have time to get to it because I was dealing with this. I had to take care of my kids over here. I had to handle this. My grandmother called me. Oh, my mom let me know she needed prayer. Somebody was dying in the family and we had to go to the hospital. Did you? Did you had to go to the hospital? Or did you want to go to the hospital because there's fire shut up in your bones to fight? You know, there is fire shut up in your bones to fight. But prophet, if you do not channel that fire and make sure it hits the lane and the person and the place that it's supposed to hit, it is a wildfire that destroys many cities instead of a fire that actually burns away the dross of the lives of God's people. We are so busy using all of our graces and our giftings as prophet today. I see this all over. We're so busy using the gifts God gave us in all of the lanes that we shouldn't be, that we actually end up tearing down prophets. We tear down places that should be built up. We tear down places, and even if they should be torn down, that is not our responsibility to tear down. Because I have seen this, like in the military, there is a strategy that goes with every fight. And when you jump in there without a strategy and without follow through, you see, I went to Julian and I didn't stay there. I didn't live there. I didn't have a battle plan from my apostle there. I didn't have a blueprint to go through with my strategy there. And I just came home and I left that work for somebody else to deal with. Like in one of you guys' last podcasts, I love Apostle Toach's Q&A podcasting. And in one of your last ones, you talked about how somebody just got in there, that prophet, and they did all this stuff and left all the work for the pastor to deal with later. But I did the same thing. I left all the work for some other Johnny-come-lately prophet or some other anointed prophet that was called to God for that area.
Or
I stepped in,
pastor.
or a poor pastor, and I stepped in, I messed up their area.
Exactly. You know, are you in your place and in your grace? Guys, if I can kind of emphasize that again, are you in your place and in your grace? Because if you do, you're going to hit pay dirt every time. Every time. So you can succeed in it. And one of the other points the Lord mentioned when I was praying about this, he said too, you know what? Sometimes if you're not experienced in warfare, you go through a time where you're actually praying and it's hard going. We call it drilling through rock.
Yes.
That's what our term for this ministry is. You push through, you're drilling. It's hard. It's labor intensive. And then there comes a click in the spirit, that switch where everything becomes easy. And you know it gets to the point where you start to feel like, oh, let's stop.
Oh, I got the breakthrough now.
I got it. We got the breakthrough. We're good. And you know, when I was talking to the Lord, when we were journaling, and the Lord said, you know, the thing is, when that happens, even though the enemy's not attacking, it doesn't mean that you won the battle. It is time then for you to clear out the remnants of what the enemy, and what the enemy left behind. Because once you've done that and you've restored that area, once you've restored that place, guess what? The enemy can't come back and take back the land.
I love that.
It's like we need to continue through to the finish. Because if we leave the land half empty, if we leave his weapons of destruction there, guess what? He's going to come back and use them again. And you know what? We're going to find that warfare. We're going to feel that attack coming at us, and we can't fight it off because we're not even expecting it because we think he's gone.
Yes, you're not done yet.
You're not done yet.
That's just displacement warfare now. That's the last step of all the warfares.
Yes.
I had this vision once when I was in a time of praying like that, and I was praying and drilling through rock, and finally I came to this stage where I saw all these demons like slain on the land, and everything was dead. Everything was finally defeated. It was a battle that had been a bloody battle. There was war for days, for months, and finally all the demons on the land were taken care of. The battle had been won. And then the Lord said to me, all right, great. You defeated the devil, but so you're just going to walk away and just leave all this nastiness on the land? Are you going to clean that up, please? And can we build something on the land?
But because you look so good.
I looked great. I mean, look, here I came.
Conquering
hero, into battle and overcame the enemy. Yeah, but after I overcame the enemy, what did I leave in its place?
Exactly.
You know, what did I leave behind for generations to come? A torn down field. Well, that's not a prophet that builds. That's a prophet that just does warfare. But prophets in office, I'm talking to you today. Are you building after your warfare? Because you know what? If you don't build, well, any prophet in prophetic ministry can just go and do prophetic warrior work and, tear down and defeat the enemy. But I feel very strongly this. I love what you shared there about when you just feel that lull and you stop. That's a very, very big point for the prophets out there is don't stop just because you did a little bit of warfare. Don't stop just because you defeated the devil. Exactly. Now it's time to actually go to the next level of work and really start to build and leave something so the devil can't just come right back in and take over the city again.
I mean, think about it. That the scripture lines up where it says, when you cast the demon out of a house, you know what, clean it and then put the Holy Ghost inside of it so that he can't come back and bring all his friends with. It's like, guys, if the scripture is so clear about it, why are we not doing it in spiritual warfare and in the things that are needed? It's like, guys, if we do this correctly and in the grace that God has given us, in the place and the authority, you know what? We won't have these things. And also, I want to throw in something too. It's like, did God call you to do it alone? Because as prophets sometimes too, we get so caught up in thinking that we need to do the battle alone. Sometimes he needs a team. Sometimes he needs a relay team to win the race. Are you actually open and listening to God to see if there's others that need to step in and have their part of the warfare, to do? It's like you can't do the whole battle alone. Sometimes we are called to do it. I mean, that is true. But sometimes do we need a team? And are you open to hear about that? Because they will have the grace to get you through and to bring that victory.
Exactly. I hope that we're really helping you, Deline, to answer this question today. Yes. Because you very specifically mentioned that you were feeling even sometimes that maybe you're praying unled. Maybe there's something more there that you're missing. And if you're feeling a backlash, I am going to say this to you. There is a place where you are either praying unled or you are praying in an area that you don't need to be praying
Yes.
in this moment.
Yes.
Not even that you don't need to pray there at any time at all, but are you praying where God needs you to pray
Yes.
today?
Yes.
Are you in the lane that you need to be in now? Are you in a team? Are you praying through the pastor's vision where you are, apostle's vision that you're working with? Are you praying in the lane that God has you right now? Because, just because we can fight doesn't mean we should fight.
No. I think there's nothing more I can add. Guys, toachministries.com. We want to hear the questions that you have. Please, this is what we love to do. Colette and I, or one of our team, is going to be here. We're going to answer those questions. So send in those feedbacks. Give us a little of a background of what the question's about and a little bit about you so that we can get to know you, because this is what it's about. Next Gen Prophets, we're a family, we're a clan, and we love to be integrated with the process you're going through in your prophetic call. So till next time, we'll see you around.
Thanks for having me again.
Always
Level
a
up,
pleasure.
prophets.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening, guys. Look down and hit subscribe. Got comments? They're welcome too. For more updates and a special gift, connect with Apostles Craig and Colette Toach on www.toachministries.com. The gift? It's an ebook on us. I'm not crazy. I'm a prophet. You can find the link in the video description below. See you around.